few years ago, I worked for the worst boss ever. Just a few weeks into my new job, and he was screaming, "You are irresponsible." My first reaction was, how did he find out so fast? There was something every day. You won't amount to much in life. You procrastinate way too much. I thought to myself, just wait. But Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, in that very short stint in that job, I learned one of the most important lessons in life. What not to do as a coach. So that's what we'll talk about today. We'll take a look at some of the benefits of coaching. Is coaching so important? We'll take a look at what is the process that you follow when you coach someone. What makes a great coach? And towards the end, as our Toastmaster indicated, we'll do a mini role play and we'll see if we can put some of these techniques in action. Okay, so that's the plan for today. Why is coaching so important? And what are some of the benefits of coaching? Coaching is very important because if everyone performs well, everyone is happy. At home, at work, in our clubs. Tasks are done on time. Responsibilities delegated. And people just become a lot more productive. And what that does is, of course, it makes our lives as employers, as parents, and as club presidents a lot more easier. And people feel good when they perform well. And in fact, someone once said that as human beings, we all want to perform at our best. That's our inherent nature. So if someone is not performing at their optimum level, then it is our responsibility as a coach, first of all, to understand why that is the case. So that is the first step towards becoming a great coach, is to understand why is that person not performing at the levels expected. Now, there can be many reasons for that, and typically they fall in one of these categories. One, they probably may not have the right training. Number two, they probably don't have the right skills. Maybe it's a misfit from a skill set standpoint. And number three, maybe they just are not motivated. In my case, in that job, I had the skills, but what I didn't have was the initial training I needed to get started. And my boss did not take the time to provide me with that. And then as that went along, of course my performance deteriorated, but instead of me being corrected, what happened was I just went through this vicious cycle where I used to perform very poorly, and then I started getting berated all the time, and then I lost total motivation to perform. So it can be any number of those combinations. So what you need to do as a coach is do your homework first. Even before you approach the person, you have the responsibility to do your homework first. And what does that typically mean? Typically means, one, does the person understand what is expected of them? Does the person know what the difference is between the way they are performing today and what is expected of them? Do they even understand the difference? Or maybe they don't understand the fact and don't realize the fact that there is a problem. They probably don't know that. Or maybe, as I said, maybe they just don't have the skills to perform that job. Another set of questions you must ask yourself is that performance that's being expected, is that realistic? That's another point you have to keep in mind. And you also have to understand or let the other person know, does the person know the impact to not only themselves, but the organization or it might be at home, or it might be in a Toastmasters club, or it might be at work. What is the impact to other people if that person does not perform well? Does he or she realize that? We have to make sure that they understand that as well. Or maybe there are some obstacles we need to get rid of to help them propel forward. Are we doing that? Or at the end of the day, it all boils down to this. Is the person capable of doing it if he or she wanted to do it? If the answer is yes, then coaching will help. If the answer is no, then you have to go back and you have to provide the right skills, etc. So these are some of the basic research or questions that you need to ask yourself before you approach a person and before you get started with a coaching session. So start there. That would help you understand what is required. So now you're ready, you've got that information, and now you want to coach the person. But before doing that, keep a few points in mind. First of all, make sure that you pick a place that's private. Of course, nobody else should listen to the conversation, which did not happen, by the way, with the experience I had, because it used to be a public dressing down. Never do that. That sticks. So make sure that it's in a private setting. And second, what you need to do is focus on the issue. Don't focus on the person. Keep it focused on the issue and not the person. That will help you as well, because we're all by nature good and want to do our best. So there's something about the issue. And it takes a lot of maturity as a leader and as a coach to get that. But I think if you look at some of the best coaches, they focus on the issue and not the person. And make sure that you use I statements and not you. I am concerned, or I believe that you're not performing. Use a lot of I statements, because if you use you don't get it, do you? That's not going to work. And those are some real examples. Right. So don't focus on the you, focus on the I. And before the coaching session itself, you have to be pleasant. You have to receive the person with a smile. And make them feel comfortable, because at the end of the day, that's how you're going to get the best out of people. And it is a unique opportunity. The opportunity to coach somebody is a unique opportunity that should not go waste. So that's some of the basics that you need to keep in mind as you go through the process. Now, the process itself, once you know and understand, or once you have that conversation, make sure that the person, one, understands the reason why you're having that conversation. Next, make sure that the person understands, or express your concern. Express your concern on what the problem is. And also help them understand the impact, as I mentioned. Make them understand the impact of what will go wrong if they don't perform. And listen to the person, because everybody have their opinions. Listen and acknowledge those feelings. That will go a long way as well. And then finally, you have to discuss opinion. You have to get their opinions. You have to, of course, arrive at a solution. And then make sure that you follow up with the person on a periodical basis. Make sure that you acknowledge if they do a good job a week from that day, praise them. Positively reinforce that, because I promise you, the next time their performance is just going to keep going up, because that's how we work as human beings. Okay? So that is the coaching process. What we'll do is, I'm going to have Sharon's graciously agreed to do a role play. Here's the scenario. The scenario is, I'm the employer, and Sharon's an employee of mine. We both are in the marketing department, and I am concerned that we just are not seeing, Sharon's responsible for lead generation or demand generation. I'm just not seeing the kind of results that I would like to see, and I know Sharon can do it. I don't know what happened recently, but I know she can do it. So let me stop there, we'll go through this, and then we'll have a short conversation, and we'll see if some of these techniques will make sense, and then you can apply them as well. Okay? So with that, and of course it needs to be a seated conversation, so to make sure that Sharon's at ease. All right. Hi, come on in, Sharon. How are you? Okay. How's it been?
So far, so good.
Well, Sharon, the reason I wanted us to have this conversation is because I have been noticing a steady decrease in the number of new leads that we're getting into the business. And it is concerning me because if we don't get the leads that we are supposed to, the impact it's going to have in the business is going to be serious. We, you and I and the rest of the team, we won't get our bonuses in time for the holiday, for a start. The business will not do well, so we don't want, that's some of the concern that I had, and I just wanted to see if there's anything I can do to help you in your role, or how do you feel? I just wanted to understand if there's anything I can do, because the number of leads has been going down. Do you see it? Have you been?
Well, Hari, I'm sorry, I'm a little confused here. How do we get from a slight dip in numbers to no one getting bonuses for the entire company? I feel that's a little excessive.
Here's the reality. I understand. I think the reality is our MBOs are tied to this. All I wanted to make sure is, are we doing, or have we thought about all the options that we can to, I know you've been doing a great job, especially from a webinars perspective, but that's just one channel. All I wanted to see is, are there other ways we can increase the number of leads, increase the revenue opportunities? Are there other things like a direct mail? Anything else we can be doing? I wanted to probe that. Is there any ideas? Because the current level that we are operating at, with the current number, the current opportunities we're getting, is just not going to cut it. Any thoughts, any suggestions? How do we get to the next level?
If I offer a suggestion or some suggestions, is anyone actually going to listen? Is anyone going to hear what I have to say?
Absolutely, and I make that commitment. I really believe we have the opportunity to go to the executive board, and if we need more resources, we can certainly do that. But we need to discuss, we present your options, and if it makes sense, you have my commitment that we'll make it. We'll at least take it to the board. Is that fair?
That makes me feel better.
Okay.
And of course, I'll get credit for those ideas.
Sure.
Because in the past, that somehow seems to have been forgotten. I never you, but I'm just
I take part of what I'm supposed to. So how about this? How about we explore, if you can take the next 2 days or so, just come up with a plan. Come up with all the options you can. Let's pick, by the end of this week, whether we pick a option, or if it's multi-channel marketing, let's try and do that. And maybe when we pick that, and how about getting together on a much frequent basis? I know I've been traveling a lot, but how about getting together, making time every Monday morning, for example, to sit down and just review our progress? Is that reasonable?
okay. Let's give it a shot.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your support. I think this is important for the business. So thank you, Sharon, for all that you do. All right. So something like that, right? And Sharon's been a very nice employee, but. So, Jim, how are you doing on the time? I'm sorry, I lost
13:50.
13:50. So,
14.
30 seconds, 1 minute. Any just top of mind comments, or does this make sense? Is this what do you? Any thoughts, comments?
I think you should have asked her what was her ideas.
Right.
You asked. It was very general, and then she said she had some ideas, but then said, "Well, can you give me one?"
Yeah.
I would have liked to have
that's a
seen
good idea.
get started on the process right away.
Yeah. No, that's a good one.
I like the
In fact,
fact
that was
that-
the intent. Yeah.
I like the fact that when you were dialoguing with her, you kept using "we," so that it turns out that we are solving the problems, not that she's got the problem, right? Her production is not where you want it to be, but we are going to work it out.
Good. Lynn?
I think you told her that the need are going down, but you didn't give her the opportunity to confirm that she agreed with the information, and also to tell you what she's seeing is a problem. You suggest that to provide more
There's a
from
problem.
the
So I didn't give the time or the, do you understand that there is a problem?
yes, that perspective. Yeah.
Josephine?
Yeah, I was thinking along the same lines of just maybe starting off with the expectation that you
Yeah.
both agreed upon, then asking her how she saw her role in it,
Yeah.
and having her take accountability before you launched into the we can fix it together.
Okay, okay. Okay?
We're there.
Is this coaching or mentoring? Because coaching suggests usually what's done by a paid coach. Is this what you would call coaching?
It can be, yeah, there is when you associate coach, it can be a paid person coming in. Mentoring is probably a little more informal, it can be, but I think it would, an employee-employee relationship can be a coaching relationship as well.
Right.
Yeah. You seem like you're in a manager
Right,
position here, not someone who's not associated with her paycheck.
correct. Because then you can have mentors too, and can a mentor be a coach? Absolutely. I think there's a subtle difference there. Anyway, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you, Sharon.
Awesome.